Hey everybody, thanks for being here and welcome to the Modern Animism podcast. We are 4 weeks into winter and I'm sure for most of you, your New Year's resolutions have gone bust. That's the way it goes, right? Well, on today's podcast, I'm going to share my animist perspective on slowing down in winter or what it means to live seasonally in winter. I hope that it may get you to rethink your resolutions and strategy for being in this season. First, I acknowledge the element of winter and thank you for the beautiful natural things that you are, like our homes, our bodies, food, and all the things in nature, as well as things like tenacity, nurturing, fecundity, and stability. Thank you. Acknowledge and give gratitude to air for our breath. I thank you for the ability to think, communicate, write, inspire, and be curious. Thank you for bringing the whispers from across the veil to us to keep us in touch with the other world. I acknowledge the element of fire and thank you for keeping us warm during this season of cold and for keeping the darkness at bay. Thank you for your protection, life force energy, and purification. Acknowledge and give gratitude to water for the emotions that allow us to connect with others, for our intuition that allows us to connect with ourselves and the other than human world, and for showing us how to keep flowing no matter how hard things become. As always, I give gratitude to our human, plant, animal, and mineral ancestors, our fellow earthlings, and all my relations. May we always walk in the knowledge that we are one and treat each other with the dignity and consideration that we deserve. I give gratitude to everyone who's listening. I appreciate when you share the show with others, like the podcast, review, and comment. The show is free to listen to, but it's not free to produce. And when you support in these ways, you help to boost the ranking so that others can find it and enjoy it. And when you donate, you help to support the show as well. And if you'd like to contribute in that way, we're on Buy Me a Coffee. The link is buymeacoffee.com/it's not you, it's me. And that's in the show notes. I was thinking about what it means to be in winter, and it hit me that my entire life, I have watched people go into sloth mode when it gets cold. They hunker down inside, get under a comforter, sit in front of a fire, eat comfort food, slow down, and do things like watch football, play video games, and get fat. No judgment, but it struck me that some of that is exactly the opposite of what nature is doing. A lot of animals hibernate. Food is scarce, so their metabolism slows down. They sleep a lot. And they live off their fat stores. What do we humans do? We slow down, but we keep eating the same amount or more. Eat heavier foods and move less, so we pile on the pounds and then work really hard in the spring to get it off by summer. Did you party during the holidays and forget all about any moderation because it was holiday time? You know, the alcohol's flowing, the sweets, and the big dinners. We actually didn't do that this year, but we have done it in every year up until now. I was doing what we've always done and didn't really think about it. It was a tradition, but I'm trying to be more mindful and natural. Most people don't have a food scarcity problem, so we can eat whatever we want. Food from all over the world is available, and even if they aren't in season where we live, they're still available, so there's no limit. I don't know about you, but I've lived like that my whole life, and this year I want to do it differently. So I'm more intentional and more natural. I'm eating more local, more fresh, more natural, and eating less. There is less food available in nature, and I want to be like the squirrels and the opossums. I want to see what I can learn from moving more deeply into seasonal living. Another thing that I'm doing intentionally is slowing down. I've always been pretty chill. I don't do what I don't want to do, and try not to take on too much. This holiday season was the chillest yet because I was a hard no for most things. I didn't overcommit, didn't overspend, and didn't overdo anything. I was still social and still engaged, but there was no stress whatsoever. I only had the joy of the holidays without any of the stress, and that was amazing. What that has done for me is to help me enjoy life more. It's like when I was a kid, it felt like a summer day lasted forever. It was slow, lazy, and unhurried. I never felt like I had to hurry up and rush somewhere to go swimming or to ride a bike. Life just unfolded. Every day was a lot like the one before, but when I awoke, it felt brand new. We're only 4 weeks into winter, but it has that same feeling. There's no rush to it at all. Everything feels like there's plenty of time. If I want to take 30 minutes or an hour to read, I don't feel like I can't because I have 25 other things that I have to do now. Somehow it's all getting done. And I think the only thing that has changed is my intention to slow down. And I'm not even sure how it got to be as busy as I was before. I didn't notice it before. I was still handling everything before, so I didn't feel stressed, but it didn't feel leisurely. Now I do, and I'm loving it. Actually, I do know what changed. It's the mindfulness. December 1st, in my private group, we started doing a 30-day challenge to share yourself. Just write something that you notice and share it. Wow, that has been amazing. It's not been work. I've just been putting that in the back of my mind to notice something, to be aware. And I'm more aware of everything, the good and the bad. Life feels more full, precious, and purposeful. I feel more connected just because of slowing down in winter. Anyway, if you want to be part of that practice, feel free to join my private community. It's not like Facebook. There's no trolls, no ads, no flaming. Just in case it sounds like I'm saying that we're creating a highlight reel, it's not that either. We write little nothings mostly, but bits of honesty that you don't see in the general population, and it's really refreshing. It's like when you ask someone how they're doing and you get the obligatory fine. Then they ask you and you say fine, and then you get on with whatever you were doing. It's kind of robotic, and it's different in the group. Every Wednesday there's a check-in. You don't have to check in, but it's normal to tell the truth, and you can actually say something is fantastic, or even if it's not, and someone will hear you. We don't hear each other. We can be like robots that talk at each other or engage in social niceties that don't mean anything. And in the group, most of the conversation is purposeful. Even if it's a light and a joke, it's authentic and real, and I find that really refreshing. You know, when you get to know someone, they create this persona, this mask, because they want you to approve of them and to like them. One of the things that I love about my private community is that there's no pressure to conform. You don't have to be anything in particular or look like anything in particular. It's really okay to come as you are, as long as you have healthy boundaries. You can't come in there and blow things up. We're not going to tolerate that. But if you play nice with others, you can be as quirky as you want to be. And I think that's what living naturally is all about. You have to be yourself to live in alignment with nature. If you live by the clock, and I know a lot of us have to because we have jobs, what is it like when you don't? Do you take a vacation, get all off kilter, and then go back to something that doesn't work for you? I once went to St. Kitts with someone who was a workaholic. And the first couple of days, he was wound so tight. And it was like, would you please slow down? Once I said something, he could see how tense he was. And so he shifted into scheduled relaxation. And now it was like, okay, at 1 o'clock, we're going to have a massage. And then we can sit by the pool for an hour. Blah, 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 blah. And we were there for a week, and it took that long for him to get into the groove of just chilling out. And I think a lot of people are like that. They just don't know how to relax because they never do it. Lots of people make New Year's resolutions and want to hit it hard after the holidays. But winter is about slowing down. You can party hard and then hit the gym, but I'm being like the trees. I'm conserving my energy, dreaming, journaling, reading, letting go of planning and doing. And it's actually way more productive because it's like things are happening by magic. I kid you not. If I have a question, I think about it, forget about it, and then wake up with the answer. Maybe I dream it. Maybe I just have a knowing, and that's happened before, but now it's like every single day. It's every single problem. There's a Taoist idea called Wu Wei. It means doing without doing. And I'm doing without doing. There's no effort whatsoever. It's way more efficient, and the results are better than if I had sat down and planned everything. It takes less time and energy, so slowing down has taught me not to push so hard and overdo. It makes no sense to go at that pace. When the harvest is over, the smart farmer allows the field to rest. He plants in the next field so that the one that was harvested can rejuvenate. And this is what it feels like. It feels like I'm giving myself space to rejuvenate. And what's coming up is way better and more enjoyable than what I could have ever conceived had a thought about it. It's like releasing the control. Earth is a great element. Sensual things and pleasures are awesome. But what delights might you find if you stop seeking? Because I'm not trying to do anything, I'm being surprised by life. Water is my favorite element. Some people don't like emotions because they're scary. They push back against them and hide their feelings. But what might happen if you let go and felt what was there? This is what I'm talking about. Just go with the flow, slowing down and allowing what is to be. Air is a great element. Thoughts are good. Communication is good. But what might your soul want to communicate if you stepped out of the way and stopped trying to control everything? That's what I'm discovering. Fire is a great element too. Creativity is insane. Bringing things to life and even destroying them can be a lot of fun and inspirational. Yet what might you create if you just get out of the way so that what your soul wants to create can emerge? That's how the silent retreat was created. I'm always up for a retreat or a spiritual tour, but a silent retreat was not on my radar at all. Yet once it popped up, I couldn't think of a more perfect way to spend my time in winter than in silence. It's not just slowing down that's created this flow for me. It's the silence and the stillness. We all have whispers of inspiration coming to us all the time. But are we ever silent and still enough to hear them? Those snatches of ideas that come in our dreams when we awaken, how often do you stop to write them down? You know, the more you acknowledge them, the more they come. It's like if I text you and you don't text back, I stop texting. You're teaching me not to bother. It's the same with your inner knowing. It's the same with your spirit helpers. Whether the voices of spirit are your own, your guides, or something even higher than that, if you aren't quiet and still, you're going to miss them. And let me tell you, engaging with all of life makes life full. Too much of one element or two makes you unbalanced, and I'm finding that out. Sometimes you don't know you're out of balance until it gets ridiculous or something happens to correct it. You know, the imbalance in me happened so gradually that I didn't know that it was happening. So it's a good time to check that out and adjust if you need to. Slowing down in winter is giving me the space to savor life. I'm seeing beauty in things I overlooked before because I was in too much of a rush. You know, when you're really little and life is new, you're learning new words and you're just curious about everything. This is how that feels. It's like I have new eyes. And everyone says the older you get, the faster time goes. That has been true for me up until now. Now it feels like every day is long, full, and there's plenty of time. All that I've done is deepen my mindfulness practice and meditated more. And by more, I don't mean like a lot more, just more consistently and with more stillness. If you'd like to join me in that, in January I'm doing Meditation Mondays. That's in the show notes too. It's better to meditate together because the peace is shared and multiplies. I can't really explain it any better than that. It's just different. Sometimes deeper, sometimes more emotional. I don't know. It's just different. A lot of people ask me about animism. They're curious about it. They think that it's something mysterious and strange. When I tell them that it's an inner way of knowing and a way of walking in the world, they don't get it. They get bored with it, or both. It's not the rituals, gods, mythology, or ancestor reverence that makes animism animism. You can be an animist without that or with it. It's really about living mindfully and seeing the interconnectedness in all things. I talk about the ancestors, elements, plants, animals, mineral, and spirit realms as our relatives, but it's a different thing to live it. It's a feeling. I can't give you that or make you understand it, but when it happens to you, it's unforgettable. It's not just a one-time thing. Sometimes a dream will do it. It could be a message from a rock. It could be something from an ancestor. Or it could just be the feeling of amazing connection to the stars. Nature is us. We are her. There are endless ways to tap in. For me, it's about falling in love with creation over and over again and marveling at what an amazing process life is. It's about peeling back the layers and seeing what the next layer is like. I mean, I thought I already knew about slowing down in winter, but this season I've taken it to a whole new level. If slowing down in winter speaks to you, I invite you to do that in the way that feels good and right for you. And I'd love to hear about it. Let me know what you do and how winter speaks through you in the comments. Thanks. I'll see you next week, guys. Ciao. Thank you for being here.